stress. I want you try surviving on the public face. Then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up.
I thought you come and telling you support, make sure to support me in the next election. President Daddy is one person who's always remembered me.
Please help me. Who is Slack Bobta?
Slack Bobta and the others are going to.
Did I just hear right?
The same PPP haters, as I said last week, Slack Bobta and the others.
Please help me. Who is Slack Bobta?
Slack Bobta and the others are.
Please help me. Who is Slack Bobta?
Slack Bobta and the others are going to.
So it's in the rice price.
The rice price something to do. They're going to talk to me, man. Somebody. They're not talking to me. They're going to tell me nothing. And they come out people every week.
I simply love it. I love what that guy is saying. They're not God, they're not talk to nobody. But what's happening now, they're going to kill Mati. Now, I'm not asking for any violence or anything. No, we don't want violence at all. But how this thing is shaping up, right? You know, like, Francine going in and about to snatch the bingo money. That is what's happening. Right now, they're trying to snatch the oil money, the wealth of Guyana, and they're fighting amongst each other. The big ones are, so-called big ones, are fighting amongst each other. And I am going to sit back with my popcorn, and I'm going to watch, and I'm going to enjoy this fight, because it's karma all around. Now, I'm not joining any fight. There's no need for me to join any fight. There's no need for me to join them when them a fight. Let them fight, Mati. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to have my popcorn. Oh, yes, my popcorn. And I'm going to watch the fight. I'm going to watch the Slack Bobtas. I'm sorry, I had to say it. For those goody people on my show, sorry, I had to say it. They are fighting amongst each other. In 2020 and before, they were all friends. They were partners in crime. They were all manner of things. Now, because of wealth and no longer any access to wealth, them a fight, Mati. It's just a matter of time before guns are drawn. Hello. Right. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that is what should happen. But it is a sad situation. But as CN Sharma would say, it's a sad situation. The situation is sad. It is so sad that a country as rich as Guyana, this is what is happening. All because of greed. All because of wealth. And who can get access to 80,000 acres of land and all these manner of things, them a fight, Mati. And I, Mark Anthony Amitabh Tilopoulos Benchap, I am saying I am enjoying the fight. It's as though you go to Wim Cinema. I bet most of you in the audience don't even know where Wim there. I bet most of you in the audience can't even, if you do know Wim, y'all don't know where Wim, what was the cinema name at Wim. And the reason I am talking about Wim, it's because they had a nice cinema right at the corner there at Wim, obliquely opposite the police station at Wim Village on the Quarantine. And we used to go as little boys many, many years ago. How time flies. But we used to go there as little boys, and we used to watch Chinese picture, and we watched the Indian pictures, and the love picture, the English picture with bear kiss and all kind of thing. We enjoyed it, right? Maureen is saying that she used to live at Wim. Wim Waterside or Wim back down? When you see some, Maureen is an old police, right? But good night to you, Maureen. And now, the first Chinese picture that I saw, I think was one of them chaps, man, obviously Chinese guys, right? And that was when Nunchaka came out. Right, Nunchaka, and you tried to do all sorts of tricks, and the Nunchaka just hit you in your face, and you hit a Nunchaka. The point that I'm making, Nunchaka, that is what it is. So they're fighting amongst themselves at this point in time. And I'm familiar with Wim Village, right? I'm familiar with Letterkenny. And those of you who don't know, Letterkenny is just, if you're going back west, it is Wim, Auckland, Letterkenny. You see, I know the village. I know all of the villages there. And I saw the folks at Letterkenny. I know some of them. I do know some of them, right? Anyways, good night to all of you. We're going to rock and roll tonight on 107.1 FM. I noticed Maureen is saying that her dad was a police. Okay. And I'm saying, okay, somebody just sent me a message on WhatsApp, and I'm saying okay to that person without calling names. But thank you so much, sir. Okay, when I'm off the air. Okay, thank you. Now, sorry about that, right? Rajan Bim, Royal Cinema, Royal Rup Mahal, and all these things. Rup Mahal Cinema. Well, we're not here to talk about cinema, but we're talking about the fighting. We're talking about the conflict. We're talking about the cussing out Mati and all manner of things. Oh, gosh. Isn't it going to get sweeter and sweeter and sweeter? This is better than Francine allegations. And now that we see Francine misbehaving, we're going to put a warning on Francine. Any one of you see Francine cursing or talking nonsense in the comment section, let me know. We will block Francine for 24 hours right here on 107.1 FM. No curse word, Francine. This is not a bingo hall where they're claiming that you take people bingo money. It's none of our business here. But all I'm saying to Francine, there will be no cursing tonight. None whatsoever. All right. So what else can we talk about right here on 107.1 FM, right? Apart from the popcorn, apart from the fighting. Now, I heard this guy who is basically pomposetting himself, but I heard him say, what's his name? The Muhammad guy. And it's interesting. Here why it's interesting, because, I'm laughing the comedy show and all these things with the PPP. But he said, and look at that gun next to him. He said that the PPP used to call on them, the Mohammeds, to take their guys, their security guys belonging to the Mohammeds, used to have to protect the PPP. Now, it seems as though this fella knows something about the PPP rigging the elections. And I don't want to hear any other crap from the Mohammeds. I'm not interested in them and their crap. However, if these people are serious about anything, then they will talk about the rigging of the 2020 elections and what role they played, if any at all. What role they played with security and their security people threatening, according to information, threatening people and all manner of things. And if Claudette Singh, maybe Claudette Singh would want to sing one day to say exactly who threatened her life, who threatened to kill her. These are things we want to hear right here on 107.1 FM. It's going to get interesting, more and more interesting. Maybe guns will drawn. No, we don't want guns to be drawn at all, because after all, people will get caught up in the crossfire. And we don't want that at all. But what I see is that they are fighting amongst each other. They are fighting amongst each other. And all I say is, do not be distracted, guys. I am going to say this again. Do not be distracted. There is a God, right, Esme Lamy? And it's not like I'm out here to preach. Can I get an amen for that? There is a God. Who would have thought that these people who have access to money, and not just one, but people, because of greed, because of wealth, because of all manner of things, and when people can't handle greed, when they can't handle wealth, when they can't handle popularity and little publicity, it gets to their head, not head. And because of that, they clash, them a fight. Whether for land, whether for house, not house, whether for see who get more security men, who get guns, and all these things. That is what this is about. And who could get more contract than who, not who, but who could get more contract than who. Right, Chanel Smith? Or Chanel Griffith? Right, Beverly? Right, Desiree Smart Felix? Is who? Right now. And that is what this thing is about. And some of you guys are getting caught in the slips. Some of you guys ain't really understand. And this is not insulting anybody. I think Rhonda Lane knows what's going on. Kudos to my friend Rhonda Lane, right? If you are not, right, William Bill Cato, if y'all don't pay attention to this war that's going on amongst themselves, PPP, war. Like Bob Marley, was it he who's like, until, right? And that is what is going on. That is what is going on, Michelle Lampkin. We don't care who in announce and who in announce. It's stupidity. It's a form of brainwashing. It's a form of distraction. And when you talk about presidential candidate, it's got to be people of quality. And we've got to get back to the good days of good president, people of good quality. Proper people. Is what going on to know the dogs? Yeah? Soon as you wake up, wishy-washy, this body can run for president, and they're not qualified. Trust me, most of them aren't qualified, right, Samantha Bellamy? Good to see you, Sammy, on 107.1 FM. They are not qualified. Patricia Asana, you are right. War break, right? And let them fight amongst them. Let them fight. Let them fight. Let them fight themselves. Knife. Nunchaka. And I'm smiling because this day was this time to come. It was going to happen. We expected it. Greed, corruption, money laundering, gold smuggling, all manner of things. Those things can't last for long, right? How are you guys doing tonight? I notice y'all sticking to this slack bokta thing. And they have people who are non-Guyanese who might be turning to each other as you turn to your neighbor, and not when you're around a dinner table with your nice family. You're going to turn to your neighbors and ask your neighbor, who is slack bokta? Or your American-born kids may ask, Dad or Mom, what is bokta? Right? But imagine you have a guy who sits there as an installed vice president, has nothing to talk about but crap, Every single week, Jim Cock bring Ram Goat story. That's all he talks about. He never talks about development of Guyana. They don't talk about those sort of things. Unfortunately, they just do not speak on those matters. Every week, she sit down, and all she talks about is Bokta, somebody wig, somebody wear lipstick, somebody live in a basement, somebody is a lowlife, somebody is a criminal, somebody do something in Pumpkin. It's bare nonsense every single week, every single Thursday. It's worse than comedy show. Is that what Guyana turned to? Is that Guyana? Is that any sort of decency? What sort of example is being set for young people? People are laughing. And now some of you may want to know who Slack Bokta is, right? I have an idea. They get more than one of them. And the chief Slack Bokta is right here. You're watching at him right here. And then they have mini Slack Boktas. These are the mini Slack Boktas. And then they got the big. And then they have this this other one here, right? So they move away from trench crappos to Slack Boktas. That's who they are. That's what they're about. Nothing proper at all.
Please help me. Who is
As
Slack
I said last
Bokta?
week, Slack Bokta and the others are going to
Did I just hear right?
the same PPP haters. As I said last week, Slack Bokta and the others.
This is Guyana? Can you guys believe it? If you guys are watching for the first time, nobody's kidding. Esme, how are you? William, Bill Cato, Miss Booker, and all these people, nobody is kidding around here. Huh? Nobody is kidding around. Slack Bokta, this, that, every single week. It's a shame and a disgrace.
Please help me. Who is
As I
Slack
said last
Bokta?
week, Slack Bokta and the others are going to
Did I just hear right?
the same PPP haters. As I said last week, Slack Bokta and the others.
You know, Slack Bokta, the PPP got all of them. All of them. Look, you're looking at one of them there. Slack Bokta. These guys are crazy in the PPP. Are these people really leaders? Huh? Are they leaders? Every week he's talking about, look, Junior Bokta and Junior Bokta, right? Every week is Bokta, Slack Bokta. Look at them right there. Them is Slack Boktas, all of them right there. Them is Slack Bokta. Look, Slack Bokta, they're right there, right? It's a shame and a disgrace, man. Is that what our country turned to? Guys, tell me, is that what Guyana turned to? We know why he's so fixated on those things, right? From wigs, lipstick, Bokta. We know why, right? Y'all know why, right? If y'all know why, just type wink, because I know y'all know why he's so fixated on those sort of things. God help Guyana. What else is happening in your neck of the woods? What else can we talk about? We're not going to talk about immigration now, but this is a Trump administration stops processing some green cards to do more vetting. And this is for applications for those who have applied, whether it's for the 485, which is the adjustment of status and so forth. Every single day, it's something new. Every single day. And those of you who have applications in the system, let not your heart be troubled. Remain calm, continue to pray. And then for those who hop into the U.S. on their visitors' visas, you've got to be careful, guys. You've got to be careful. You can't come on a visitor's visa and expect to spend months and months and months, because the folks are saying here, if you overstay your U.S. visa, you could face a permanent ban on travel to the United States, as well as criminal prosecution. Consular officers have full access to your immigration history and will not or will know sorry about past violations. There is no such thing as an honest mistake. On some other program, I will talk entirely about this. But guys, if you are on a visitor's visa, do not spend a heck of a lot of time. Do not work. Come on your vacation and beat out. We'll talk more about this in a subsequent program. All right. What else is happening? What can be in another program? We will talk about that. But what else is happening? Critchlow Labor College, you know what's going on there. The folks at Critchlow Labor College they are going to pick up the pieces. They are going to get this college back up and running, bigger and better, because it has served the community, has served Guyana. Thousands of people have benefited from this college, including people like Robert Passad and so forth. Lots and lots of people came through Critchlow Labor College. So they're going to be back up, bigger and better. Hopefully soon we'll have Lincoln Lewis. He should have been on with us tonight. And let me just put the blame on our executive producer who didn't send Lincoln the link to talk a little bit about Critchlow Labor College and this fire. So our apologies to General Secretary of the Guyana Trades Union Congress, Lincoln Lewis. And this is the headquarters right there, Critchlow Labor College. So let us move on to some other things. And this is what I want to talk to you guys about. The fake PPP regime and how they rigged the 2020 elections. And if those people, these people that get sanctioned by the US, if they want to talk, don't just talk, smash. Talk about the rigging of the 2020 elections and whether you guys played a role. If you want to talk about it right here on 107.1 FM, feel free. Let's talk about the rigging of the 2020 elections before we talk about anything else. Right? Now, let's move on here. The 2020 elections. You guys know these three persons, right? And others. They have been in front of the courts for a while. They're being persecuted. I repeat, they are being persecuted under the corrupt PPP regime. They are being persecuted. Shame on those vagabonds in the PPP regime. And some of them who suddenly got up and talking about human rights and humanitarian and all manner of things. They participated in these individuals who are being persecuted today. These are just three of many persons who are being persecuted. They didn't rig any elections. They didn't do anything bad, but they're being used as scapegoats in order to make the PPP look good, make it appear that they did something wrong. These three persons and others did absolutely nothing wrong. They didn't rig any elections. Good night to Miss Roxanne Myers. Good night to Mr. Mingo. Good night to Mr. Lowenfield. They didn't, but it was all a setup to make it appear when they bomb rushed this place. This is the GCOM headquarters. They bomb rushed this place with security guards belonging to people who now suddenly got up and talking about human rights. Y'all know who they are, right? Ding, ding. Good. So this is what's happening. This was all staged. This was fake to make it appear that there was something wrong, something going on that was wrong on this night. And so they blamed Mingo. They blamed Roxanne Myers. They said that the SOP. When was the last time you heard them with SOP? They're saying the PNC or APNU could AFP and UAFC should show their SOPs. Show me your SOPs, right? They are now in power because they've been installed and they do not talk about SOPs any longer. They have access. They have access to the APNU or APNU AFC SOPs. Why is it that they do not show the SOPs? The PPP, Jogdiev, also known as Slack Bokta, he knows about the APNU AFC SOPs. And he knows that for the most part, I put my hand on the block, but for the most part, the APNU AFC, the coalition SOPs, they're all intact. But the only fraudulent set of SOPs belong to the PPP, the corrupt PPP who rigged the 2020 elections with the help of overseas individuals in order for a regime change. That is what it was all about. And those people who now pomposetting themselves that they care about people, we care about you. I am a humanitarian. Bull, right? Tell us about the rigging of the 2020 elections and tell us what role y'all played in not only rigging of the elections, but threatening people and all manner of things. We want to hear about those things. Don't tell me nonsense that you are a humanitarian. All right. So what else is happening in your neck of the woods, right? All of you, I can't say goodnight to everybody. Some of you get vexed when I don't say goodnight to you. But here is what's interesting. Everything is coming out now. Every single thing. From the rigging of the elections to them a fight Mati. And you guys know what Mati means, right? Them a fight Mati. If you don't understand what I'm saying, let me take you to Blackbush Boulder to remind you guys what's happening in the country Guyana right now and why the PPPC will be voted out of office. Hear why.
So it's in the rice price.
The rice price, something to do with it. I go talk to him, man, somebody. Then I talk to him, I come and tell him nothing. And you come out, people every week, okay.
That is how they're complaining about the corrupt PPP regime. The PPP is on the ropes. They've gone way outside there. Their entire body is outside. They're no longer inside of the boxing ring. They're not. They're gone outside. It's only left now for the opposition to knock them out, a knockout punch. And the question is, will they be a knockout punch? Will there be a knockout punch? And who? A weak opposition cannot get that knockout punch. A strong opposition will knock them completely out of the ring. And that is what we want. Right, Auntie Shanta or Auntie Data?
Yes, my name is Jacinti Caldata from City, Vietnam. And since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
I believe Auntie Data, 100%. Some of y'all may not, I believe Auntie Data. And there are lots of people like Auntie Data who have made their minds up. No more PPP. No more PPP. Oh, yes. Including all those people, majority of those people in Blackbush Boulder. And now, who are they going to vote for? They want to vote for sensible parties and sensible people, right? Sensible people. Check this out.
So it's in the rice price.
The rice price, something to do with it. I go talk to him, man, somebody. Then I talk to him, I come and tell him nothing. And you come out, people every week, okay.
They're not talking to nobody. They're not doing anything. All they're doing is thieving and thieving and thieving and thieving and thieving the money and lying and lying and lying to the nation and taking the money like that one woman out at Babu John that had the worst crowd, meaning the crowd, the attendance was the worst in the history of going to Babu John. Is Babu John, mind you, right? But you know, you come American, you say Babu John. It's Babu John. Babu John. It's pronounced Ra Babu. Babu John. Babu John. That's where it is. That's what it is. Port Moran, Babu John. Right? And so that crowd there was a rent-a crowd. They give James Bond a box of cook-up, probably, to go and round up a few other people, give them a box of cook-up, give another set of people them cup dal, another set of people them little fried rice, and so forth. And they forced people, they threatened those 10-day workers to put on T-shirts. They force people to give out T-shirts. They sweet talk people that I go get cash grant, I go get extra cash grant, I go get the proper sweet talk people. That crowd was the worst in the history of going to Babu John, right? The worst. And nobody spoke anything of substance. Absolutely nobody. After that, you get Licklip and LBB and whatever it is, sat down at some makeshift table, throw a little cloth over it, and said them a call press conference. It is not going to work because all they said at Babu John was this. Speaker after speaker. Jack Dale, aka Slack Bokta, came and this is what he said. Irfan Ali came on the stage and this is what he said. Then he came back again and this is what he did. This is all that happened at Congress, what is it? Babu John.
How we gonna do a body man walk right now? You ready? Fuck, so let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body walk, truck, body walk, body walk.
That's all that happened. Nobody walked away from Babu John with anything that made sense. Absolutely no one. They weren't even. Did you see when Slack Bokta Jack Dale walked up to Donald Ramutar? Take a look at body language, guys. Understand. Everybody had their own fun. They're looking for this fanfare. Anil walked around taking picture like if he's Rashi Kapoor. Walking around picture. Jack Dale walking around. Same thing. Irfan Ali beat out early. It's because they do not have the support. They rent a crowd. Half of the people came from Georgetown. All they could talk about, and then even the people right there at Port Moran, Portuguese Quarter, Mississippi, and all these places, Bloomfield, Letterkenny, they didn't go. Majority of the people from WIM, them not go. They didn't go because they no longer believe in the PPP. They must look for something in the opposition for vote. They must look for hope. And that is why they're basically clinging on to anybody that sung that. And they got to be careful who they cling on to, you know. This thing is not about clinging. It's like, you know, back in the days, we used to swing on tamarind tree. But we used to be smart to hold on a good limb to swing to go over to the other side. You have got to be careful who I hold on to, how, buddy. Now, anybody I go hold on to just like that. Because the rope got bust. And you don't want to hold on to rotten ropes, right? You don't want to do that. But what? Read between the lines, mind. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Now, all I'm saying, and the PPP knows it, they know that they're up against the rope and they are going to lose the elections. Slack Bokta Jack Dale knows that. Irfan Ali knows it. And look, you know, I want to laugh, the kind of border market laugh or Stabrook market or Port Moran market laugh. Y'all know that kind of laugh, right? I'll check you guys in the comment section if y'all know that kind of laugh. I really want to laugh. And Sorry. Here's why I want to laugh. I'll tell you guys the truth. This guy, Junior Slack Bokta, this guy, I am going to laugh because this guy is in the opposition. Then he just recently gone over to drink Lil Dal, throw Lil Dal Pony Cook, right? And after the elections, he will be back in the opposition. So he get the opposition spirit in him. Oh, he has an opposition spirit in Ebi. He going right back in the opposition, right back after the elections and the PPP get kicked out. He going right back in the opposition, and this is all his fault. This is what he will be saying when he returns to the opposition after the election. He's back in the opposition. Now, hey, wait a minute now. If you're now joining us, good night. My name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to Straight Up. Guess who is going to be in Guyana tomorrow? Just guess. Take a guess. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, probably already on his way to Guyana. If you're watching this show tonight, Marco Rubio, U.S. Secretary of State, guess what? Good night. And once you're in Guyana, I hope you do take the time to talk with members, real members of civil society. Talk to members of the opposition. We don't know if a meeting is scheduled between Marco Rubio and the opposition leader or members of the opposition. Not the deputy speaker. She not no opposition. She a PPP. I repeat, Marco Rubio, you have to meet with other members. Not just the corrupt PPP. Not just them. Them so corrupt. They're in bed with the Chinese. They're in bed with terrorists and all these things. Marco Rubio, be careful with those vagabonds in Guyana. Be careful with Jack Deere and those vagabonds in Guyana. Meet with the opposition. Meet with real members of civil society. Meet with NGOs. And you will hear what's happening in Guyana. Marco Rubio on his way to Guyana. In fact, not only Guyana, Jamaica, Suriname as well. He's going to go meet with Santoki over there. He's meeting with those vagabonds in the PPP regime. I hope, though, that he's going to meet, even if it's for 15 or 20 minutes, meet with the opposition. Meet with those people. Now, tomorrow morning, you guys are going to see billboards from the airport to Georgetown. It's going to be clean. It's going to be so clean, right, that you're not going to even recognize Guyana. It's so clean. And so Marco Rubio will step off his private jet through the airport. Sirens, wee, wee. Watch out for the big billboards. Watch out for the billboards. Welcome, Marco Rubio, U.S. Secretary of State, to Guyana. All right. Hey, what else is happening, guys? My name is Mark Benchap. Welcome to Straight Up. It's 44 minutes after 9 o'clock. What else you want us to talk about? Tell me. Okay. Here's what I want to talk about. Let's get back to the 2020 election. Remember earlier I said, everything coming out, there's karma. Oh, yeah, the truth is coming out. I don't know how many of you remember there's a song way back in the days. As I tell you guys, I'm an old man now, right? I'm an old man now. And there's a song that goes, freak comes out at night. Freak comes out at night. Now, this has nothing to do with the young lady in this photograph here at all. But what I'm talking about is the truth comes out. And the truth is coming out every single day. The truth is coming out. Oh, yes. The truth is coming out. And so this observer, Razul, hi, Razul. Good night to you. And, I got to give her credit. Here's why I'm going to give her credit. Because the truth is coming out. The truth comes out at night. The truth comes out at night. The truth comes out and so the truth is coming out now. Hear why the truth is coming out. It is coming out because God doesn't like ugly. And the PPP regime and those vagabonds, those election thieves in the PPP hierarchy, they didn't realize that the truth would have been coming out. Whether it's day, whether it's night. The truth comes out at night. Here is the truth now. And so this observer, Razul, admits PPP observers caused Region 4 election chaos. This is what she is saying, an observer that presumably was sympathetic to the PPP, is saying that on the cross-examination, this is what she said, that the PPP caused this. And now this is not us at 107.1 FM is saying this. We're not the ones. We knew it, but we were telling you guys it. But some of you guys weren't listening, right? And so this observer, quote unquote observer, presumably was, sympathetic towards the PPP. And so on the cross-examination, according to the lawyer, one of the lawyers, and in this case, Mr. Ronald Daniel, right? Ronald Daniels is stating here that the matters reported herein, my personal cross-examination of Ms. Razul, the court recordings can verify the truth. Ms. Razul, evidence on the cross-examination today, she made the following, among other admissions. 1, the chaos at the Region 4 electoral office was caused by PPP and small party agents and observers. This is what she said on the cross-examination. And I want you guys to listen carefully and understand exactly why the PPP rigged the elections. Now, let's continue. Carl Miller, whether she got her CASRIP or not, the truth is coming out now. The truth is coming out now. So take some of that CASRIP that she got and put it in your pepper pot and let's hear the truth. It's coming out now, Carl Miller. 2, they were loud and chaotic to the election staff. She's saying the PPP again. It's the PPP, small party agents and observers. They were loud, they were disrespectful to election staff. 3rd, they were loud and chaotic even to staff who worked for hours and then complained they were tired and hungry and could not go on. That is what the corrupt PPP did. That is what the corrupt PPP did. 4th, there were several instances from March 4th to 5th, 2020, that disruptions were caused by the PPP party agents, small party agents and observers. This is what this young lady Razul admitted under cross-examination. And the lawyer who cross-examined her, Ronald Daniels, is saying that the court record will show. But this is what the PPP mouthpieces, the papers and so forth, they're not going to report it. Right, Marcia Jackman? They're not going to say anything. Right, Annette Cummings, Patricia King, and so forth, Ian Williams, Gwyneth Anderson, and Eva, and Kim Walker, and Miss Booker, and Astel Ogle, and all of you. And sorry that I'm saying all of you, some like that pastor, right? That woman pastor. All right? Okay, so let's continue here. 5th. Observers from the Bar Association and the Private Sector Commission offered unsolicited advice and interpretations. Now, I have issues with that, but I'll continue. I'll start over. Observers from the Bar Association and the Private Sector Commission offered unsolicited advice and interpretations of law to GCOM officials, matters of which they were expressly restricted from doing according to the official GCOM terms of reference for observers and so forth. That's from the lawyer, of course. And so that's exactly what happened. Since when you were going to have members of the Bar Association to offer legal advice to GCOM officials? Who the heck who are they? And the Private Sector Commission that is offering legal advice? No, come on. One of the observers was what? Gali Khan was wanted by US. And right after the elections, he basically handed himself over to agents, US agents in Guyana. And the rest is history. He's probably about to finish serving his time or probably already did. 6 now. That the complaint about not being let into Region 4. No, I want y'all come a little closer. Tag Slack Bokta Jack Dale and Junior Dan Slack and Junior Slack. You know who they are. Now, come a little closer, guys. You have to hear this. That she complained. This is Miss Razul. She's you see her photograph there. She said that she complained about not being let into Region 4 office several hours before the time appointed by the court to resume the tabulation and verification process, and that she complained despite being let in an hour before the process resumed. And you know who stopped that, right? The PPP thugs. Oh yes, the PPP thugs, Jack Dale and all of her gang members, all of their gang members. That is exactly what happened. And the truth is coming out, and more will be out. And I want those who are now parading themselves as humanitarian, I want them to talk about the rigging. I want them to talk about threats that agents of the government and gang members and so-called security guards and so forth that were threatening staff members of GCOM. Oh yes, and that the life of Claudette Singh was in danger. It was Claudette who admitted that her life was in danger and that there was a hit out on her. I want those same people running around as humanitarian say whether they put a hit out on Claudette Singh. That's all. I'm not saying anybody put a hit out, but let them say whether they put a hit out on Claudette Singh. Claudette Singh may have a story to tell about that, right? And I also want to hear Claudette Singh's story again, and this time publicly. So maybe a member of the press can ask Claudette Singh whether she knew or heard of a so-called business entity owner that wanted her assassinated. All these things happened during the course of the elections. And now, some of them in the opposition now, who are in the government now, some of them knew what was going on. Some of them knew what was going on. Oh, yeah. Some of them knew what the PPP was doing. Maybe some of them were complicit too, but who knows? But let's continue here. 7, that according to Ms. Rizzo, that armed escort escorted her and other observers and agents. Who were the armed escort? These are things we want to know. Who were the armed escort? Were they police, Ms. Rizzo? And I'm not sure whether the lawyer asked whether they were police. But where were these armed escort from? Where? Security agencies? Did they belong to the same quote-unquote overnight humanitarian chaps them, who now claiming that they send security and help out Irfan and help out this? So could it be these armed escort who escorted her, Miss Razul, on the page? That's her photograph. She's saying armed escort escorted her and other observers and agents into the building. Okay, so private security, private thugs from certain questionable security firms run by certain questionable businessmen. Were those armed escorts from those places? Well, we'll hear. Now, she said she sought to impress upon the courts that the escorts were heavily armed, heavily armed. Heavenly Father, where are you? Heavily armed. They weren't policemen. They were private thugs. Y'all know, y'all read between the lines what happened there, right? Mouth open, as somebody in the audience say, mouth open and story a jump out. As David Hines would say, Dr. Hines. Right. Let's continue. Mouth open, story jump out. And this part again. She sought to impress upon the courts that the escorts were heavily armed, but accepted upon further questioning that no guns were pointed at her or the persons being escorted. So y'all hear what's going on? Y'all, for the first time, the truth is coming out. And that is why the PPP wanted to railroad people like Roxanne Myers and Lowenfield and Mingo and others. We kept saying for the longest while, right here on 107.1 FM, to keep the story alive, that the PPP rigged the elections, the 2020 elections, and they are persecuting these folks. How much more could they do to these individuals? With their lies, they're persecuting these three persons and others. Shame on Jack Dale, aka Slack Bokta. Shame on him for persecuting these people. Now back to this young lady. I say kudos to her for speaking the truth. Now, number 8, according to attorney at law Ronald Daniels, during his cross-examination, 8, that no instructions were given to the police to target the PPP agents. Absolutely none. Nobody instructed the police to do anything, but they were armed men, heavily armed men. Maybe the chapter running around now as an overnight humanitarian can tell some of y'all who were those armed men. Because recently he admitted, yes, Azruddin, the overnight humanitarian, admitted that they helped to protect the PPP with their men, their security men. Kind of reminds me of Roger Khan. Roger Khan said his security guys helped out the PPP. Now it's like deja vu. We're hearing the same thing. Help out. Help out. Men with big guns, heavily armed. Help out. What's going on, PPP? Mouth open, story jump out. Mouth open, story jump out. Let's continue with number 8. That no instructions were given to the police to target PPP agents. That instructions were given to the police to restore order, and that she formed the view that the object of the instructions were the PPP agents because they were the loudest. She is saying that the PPP agents were the loudest, so they knew what they were up to. They knew that they wanted to disrupt peace and to divert attention, and then they put the poor blame on Lowenfield and Mingo and Miss Roxanne Myers and others. Shame on the corrupt PPP regime. But let's continue. According to Ms. Rizzo, during cross-examination, that instructions were given to the police to restore order, and that she formed the view that the object of the instructions were the PPP agents because they were the loudest. And this is despite her admitting that at that time, small party agents and observers were being disruptive. Ring a bell. Not a slack bokta. What's his name again? Can't even remember his name. He was deputy speaker and then he disappeared. God in heaven knows what you're up to now. Schumann or whatever. Number 9, according to the cross-examination, that it was not until the final day after all the chaos, protests, and arguments by the persons mentioned above that someone from the coalition urged Mr. Mingo to continue with the process. Now, what is so wrong with that? Disruption by the PPP. They were the loudest. Men with huge guns. I don't know why the police didn't arrest them and lock them up, put them in chains, and charge them. They had no right, absolutely no right, being in there. Then again. But let's continue. That it was not until the final day, after all the chaos, protests, and arguments by the persons mentioned above, that someone from the coalition, kudos to that someone, urged Mr. Mingo to continue with the process. Thank you, whoever that someone from the coalition government who did that. So we're seeing who did all the right things, right? And we are seeing the corrupt ones, thanks to Ms. Rousseau. Number 10, that in retrospect, she accepts that the PPP and small party agents did not conduct themselves in keeping with the legal procedure in place to raise the challenges they had with the tabulation and verification process. It simply means the PPPC had no interest in doing that. Absolutely none. And in conclusion, according to the lawyer, Ronald Daniels, his words, these are but a few of the admissions, and remember, just a few of the admissions, according to the lawyer, a few of the admissions under cross-examination. Now, you guys understand why the PPP, why they were so afraid of the elections petitions. They were so afraid of the SOPs being opened up, so that the court, and by extension the world, all of Guyana and outside of Guyana, would have been able to witness firsthand how the PPP stole the 2020 elections, how the PPP rigged the 2020 elections, and how they orchestrated that so-called rowdy crowd at the Elections Commission on elections night, so that they can divert attention and to create this impression in the eyes of the public that the coalition did something wrong, when in fact it was not the case. The coalition got caught with their pants down. I know Jack Deere loves that. But the coalition got caught with their pants down, and they have not recovered since then. Do not get caught with your pants down, guys. Those in the opposition again. Do not. Because what the PPP did to Guyana took Guyana 25 years backwards. Guyana was on the path of success in every aspect. From 2015 to 2020, Guyana was on the path of success. Everything began to shine gradually in Guyana. But with the PPP back in office, it took Guyana 20 or 25 years backwards. It has not developed. Under PPP regime, Guyana will never develop. A country as rich as Guyana is, billions of dollars in gold, most of which being smuggled out by corrupt individuals, now sprinkling little crumbs here and there, telling themselves that they're humanitarians. And even the smuggling of oil and the waste of your tax dollars from oil revenues. It's a shame and a disgrace that a country as rich as Guyana is, all people, all these corrupt politicians in the PPP expect is for you to survive on cash handouts. Every 6 months, if they can give you a 50,000 cash handouts, while they're stealing 50 million US, 100 million US. They have bank accounts in China. They have bank accounts in other parts of the world. Their wives and other relatives and concubines and men, some of them do have that as well. Okay, yeah. And so they can travel the world and waste your tax dollars instead of building proper roads, instead of building proper schools and computer labs and chemical, laboratory, all these things. They are not doing it because they don't care. They just don't care about you guys. And so as they are up against the ropes, those in the opposition got to get their act together. I'm talking about the real opposition, real people, qualified people, genuine people, not thieves, not gold smugglers, not scamps to run a country. We have enough scamps running the country right now. I say you cannot replace one set of vagabonds and scamps. Put the country in the hands and in another set of vagabonds and scamps and people who don't care about you. Play your cards right. Again, I repeat, play your cards right. Because if you don't play your cards right, cat is going to eat your dinner. All of you, every single one of you, cat will eat your dinner. Do not get enticed or get worked up with people who suddenly come to you and tell you that they love you and they care about you and they want to get quicker. They're only doing that to save their own butts. They're not patriots. They do not care about Guyana. Most importantly, they do not care about you. Be careful. And that is why we want the opposition to be unified. We want the opposition to be strong. That's the only way the PPP will and can be defeated, with a strong opposition. This is not a fight for a minority government. And any person in the opposition who fight to become a minority president is not worth your time. You want it all. All you want. Not crumbs. God bless you all. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Now, before I go quickly, I'm glad you noticed that they have run out of steam on the Melly Mel issue. The corrupt PPP regime ran out of steam on the Melly Mel issue. Here why? Because they have nothing else to offer. They have nothing else to say. They could do all they want to do. Look at their cartoons. Look at all these sort of things. Oh, look at the shoes they give Melly Mel. But when she's out this Friday, and she will be out, somebody got to show her the shoes that Starbuck News. But look what Starbuck News did to the girl. Look what Starbuck News did to the young lady. I take that back, but Guyanese have this way, Caribbean people. But girl, look what they did to the young lady, right? And notice they have nothing else to fight or nothing else because they show their cards and they're not smart enough. And so, because they're not smart enough in this battle, they have lost the battle. I repeat, they have lost the battle. And Melly Mel will be freed. That's just my take. This Friday. Can't wait to have a glass of wine. But she has to pay for it, not me. God bless you all. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. 107.1 FM. So long, and God bless you all.
corruption inside every sector. But when it comes to them, they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue, cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water load. Pressure want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up.